Hi, Valentino Zubiri here. I'm not reading from my books and I don't have a script. I'm just talking extemporaneously and I feel like I should tell you this story. I was probably 10 years old and my brother would be 11. School's out, summer, and my dad brought my brother, myself, and two of his co-workers back to the island where he grew up. That place isn't the most convenient place ever because electricity was only turned on like during the day for 6 to 10 hours, after which you're going to have to contend with candles and lamps. However, we had the sea right next to us and the sea breeze and the rustling of the coconut leaves. And so it's a different scenario from Manila. However, being that I was that age, I would miss my cartoons, my TV shows, the radio, electricity, refrigerator, good food, etc. It was a stretch to even be there for 5 days. And I do worry because I wore glasses and one of my dad's co-workers also wore glasses. Now his name was Rolando and he was huge, he was obese and he was like 10 feet tall and huge. The reason being that I was short. So he also wore glasses and so I was hoping that he'd be safe and his glasses would be safe, especially because through the years I've experienced myself losing my glasses. Nobody in my entire life ever told me or warned me to take out my glasses. And so sometimes I'd be carelessly going into the sea and then the big splash of the wave would make me lose my glasses and I couldn't find them, they're underneath. And then, being that I would be at a place where there would be no optician, then obviously I would have to wait for the vacation to be over just so I can get back to my convenient state where I can see things. So I'd spend the rest of my life, or rest of my vacation, with no glasses on, not able to see anything. I'm very nearsighted. So when Rolando or Rolly went to see my dad's island, I kind of worried about his glasses. One afternoon, him and I, we were by the beach. He was swimming, I didn't want to get wet, so I was right by the beach and right next to his glasses. Being that I worry about people, I was ready to shout for help just in case he needed help. My dad, his co-worker, and my brother, they went into the more jungly area of the location. They were gonna come back to check up on us later. So Rolando, or Rolly, he was telling me that when he was in college, he used to be part of the swim team. And then he said, I'm gonna show you the different swimming styles. So he said, this is the freestyle breaststroke, this is the side stroke, this is the backstroke, this is the butterfly, this is the doggy paddle. And then he showed me how to float, that he floats, he's huge and he can float. And then he said, this is the Lumba Lumba. And I was like, what's the Lumba Lumba? He described it as how the dolphins would show up in the water and then disappear in the water and show up in the water and disappear in the water as they chase after ships and speedboats. And so okay. And then he showed me the Lumba Lumba. He went from right to left and then left to right and then a few more on the third. He did two Lumba Lumbas, I guess that's what you would call it. And then he started to splash the water and he was like splashing and I was kind of like, oh, that doesn't look like dolphins, that looks like a big whale splashing the water. And with all that water going up 100 feet in the air, all white and foamy and whatever. And then he calmed down. So I was ready to call my dad for help. And just to check up on him, make sure that he was still okay, I asked, so that's the Lumba Lumba. And then he answered me back. He said, jellyfish. So it's like, oh no. He got stung by a jellyfish. So he came out of the water and his back and towards one of his shoulders, it was starting to turn red. And I was like, oh no. And I told him, don't worry about that. It'll disappear in 2 days or maybe a day. In my mind, I was almost laughing in my mind and I was like, oh, now I remember why I didn't want to get into the water. I didn't want to get wet, I didn't want to lose my glasses, and I didn't want to get stung by a jellyfish. Because my brother is usually the one who gets stung by a jellyfish because he likes to snorkel. And I can't even use a snorkel because I needed my glasses. So I never liked snorkeling. I'd get wet for a while and then I'd get back out sooner than anyone else, just so I don't have to lose my glasses. And I didn't like to be swimming without my glasses on. So I always had my glasses. And I've had this before. I'd lose my glasses in the sea. And there's no way I can find them. And then I'd have to wait for that fateful day when we all have to return back to Manila so I can get a new pair of glasses. So the rest of my supposed vacation would be inconvenient. I remembered my worry and, that Lumba Lumba and the splashing. That's why I remember Rolly. But there's something else that I kind of remember about him. On the first day that we met, and this was in Manila at home, before we went to the island, he asked me, and he was looking at me, and I was looking up, and he was like 10 feet tall and huge. He asked me, what are you going to be when you grow up? And I said, I don't know. And then he said something very important. He said, remember this, when you grow up, if you ever become an engineer, the best thing that you can ever contribute to mankind would be to build the best bridge, strongest bridge, greatest bridge possible. And I said, okay. To this day, I ask myself, am I building the biggest, strongest, greatest bridge ever? Even though I'm not an engineer, even though it wouldn't be the actual physical bridge that I might ever build, am I doing it? Am I following his advice? And I feel like I am. And that's why I want to share this with you. Are you building your biggest, strongest, greatest bridge ever? Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.